get moisture on the cords, and I can't go anywhere without it.
Well, and especially in different elevations and climates.
Exactly.
I bet it's different.
Some climates are way more dry than others, and when it is, that's working overtime.
Yeah.
But it's
that's
great.
your ride or die. Like, if there's a fire,
absolutely.
grab the steamer.
If there's a fire, grab the steamer and Milo, and we're running.
And Milo, of course.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, there's so many things that travel with us. I mean, I just actually got this new bottle. I think it's called a Dr. Vox. It's basically like a straw phonation tool, and it puts pressure on the cord, so that kind of wake them up a little bit, and a little resistance training, basically, for your voice.
That is fascinating.
You know?
Because it is your instrument.
It is. You got to warm it up properly, cool it down properly, and everything's here helps me do that. Of course, my speaker. I need that for pre-show and post-show when I'm getting in the zone and just blasting music and watching videos. And
is it Michael music, or is it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have to dive into the world if I'm going to portray it on stage.
Yeah.
So before the show, it's so loud in here because there's like also 5 different people like getting me ready to do the show.
So is hair and makeup done right here?
Yep, it's done right here.
Oh my goodness.
Hey.
Thank you so much.
How are you?
Oh my gosh, these are the pieces.
These are the pieces.
Stunning.
Whew. Put them there.
Is Michael's voice in your natural range, or do you have to kind of reach for something?
I think now it is.
Yeah.
I think after being in it so long.
Stretching.
Yeah.
Kind of like with the part with Quincy where he's like, hey, let's bring it
Exactly.
and use your voice
Exactly.
that changed. Oh, this
man.
is so cool.
Thanks for running these down, Chelsea.
Yes, thank you.
Sorry I missed it.
No. Are used during the wannabe number that you saw.
Yes, okay.
By we call him Middle Michael. His
Sure.
name in the program is just Michael, but he's in between the kid and the adult Michael.
Right.
So, but yeah, these are all the iconic looks. I mean, of MJ the Musical, and there's many more.
Many more.
Many more. But no, I mean, we can get into it. I mean.
Yes, let's tell me about this one. This was when the press conference that he was so worried about.
Yeah.
But this is a
exactly,
real outfit that Michael. I mean, not this particular piece,
right. It's very Dangerous Era inspired, like very early 90s of him. He loved the militant style, and he loved the good gold. One of his favorite colors was gold, and I always say that this is one of the jackets I'm taking home with me when I'm done, so don't tell anybody that. But I'm stealing it. Stealing it when we're done. Sorry, Chelsea.
And you're going to wear it around, right? Like Christmas?
Oh, yeah. Every day. That's all I'm going to wear. No. And, of course, one of the mini jackets that needs no introduction.
Woo.
Our Billie Jean look.
And
paired with the iconic glove.
I mean, this gives me chills.
I mean,
that is just.
You should see it on stage.
It's so cool. The lights and the glitter and.
Oh yeah, I always say I can't look directly at it when we're on stage because it'll blind me.
Like a disco
ball. Yeah, truly. It's under those lights. It's so bright, and I'm like, wow. And even from like the last row in the theater, like I've seen footage from it, it's still like glistening.
Yeah,
it's insane. It
amazing.
really is. Right here we have a more casual Michael look, but something very 80s inspired of him. He loved a good varsity jacket in an everyday life.
That would be a good one you could take home and actually wear. The M maybe for Marcus. You can
exactly. See,
or Molly.
I like the way you think. Or Molly. Or Milo. Why not?
Or anything.
So many M's in our lives. It's so crazy. Oh man, in this jacket, a beautiful, beautiful replica of the Beat It music video look.
Yes.
And I like to ask people, I like to make them guess how many zippers they think is on this jacket.
Okay, but are these functional zippers?
Some of them are, yeah. Some of them are. This one actually will take the arm off.
Okay.
If you unzip it, which is really funny because it's come off during the show before. It was
you just
so
lose
funny.
a sleeve
right,
mid motion.
Why not? You know, sometimes it happens. This one of my favorites, especially to see on stage.
I mean, and to see it in person is just...
The detailing on this one always
amazing.
Gets me. I mean, this costume was beautifully crafted by Paul Tazewell, who just won the Oscar
I've heard of
for
him.
Wicked. Yeah.
Okay, so he
designed
the costumes.
He designed all the costumes for this show. And you can tell, I mean, the proof is in the pudding.
That's amazing. I didn't know that. I should have done a little more there. I was looking up and I got distracted. This particular ensemble for the whole Jackson 5, is that really what they were wearing on,
if you go back,
Soul Train, right?
Yes.
That was
in
what
the Soul Train looks. They always in these sort of full body jumpsuits
Yeah.
with a jacket to match.
Of course.
So
Gotta
it's
keep
very
it styling.
very late Jackson 5, very 70s, very Soul Train. So
And
I
the
love seeing this.
colors
The colors
are
pop.
so
Oh,
iconic.
so iconic. They're so beautiful and then so uniform as well. And of course,
Another
Grammy look.
very,
the Grammy jacket. I mean,
when they brought the Grammys out, I had to ask, is it one prop that's all of the statues, or were you juggling all the statues?
I think at one point there were like multiple things. I think they might have changed it now
just
to make it just one.
Can you
Make it
imagine
easier
dropping one
to
of
just
them mid-show?
exactly. And then, but no, this. I mean,
every
look at
inch
the
of
details on
this is covered in sequins and shine.
yeah. Everything about this jacket, I love it so much. It is.
How much does it weigh? Is it heavy when you have
can
it
hold
on?
It's pretty heavy.
All those
it's
sequins,
very,
yeah.
They're all very quality jackets. Like, it's not some sort of costume look. These are real jackets that are really well taken care of by our wardrobe department, and they are very heavy. Each of them.
Between, when you took on this role in January, how do these costumes, are they tailored to you, or are they all remade just for Jordan?
They remake, well, it's funny because when I stepped into the role, they had to remake all the costumes because I'm a lot taller than a lot of the people who came before me. So they were like, oh, we have to make completely new costumes, like start from scratch. We have to just build them again. But no, and then they tailor them to our bodies, to our measurements. We have every jacket that we wear, all the pants, all the shoes, everything is custom made to our bodies, which is perfect because, I mean, if we're going to be in them for the entire show, like these loafers or like the slacks, like they have to be as comfortable as possible and be able to function well when they're moving around so much in them. So and I mean, last but not least, of course.
I was going to say piece de resistance, but they kind of all for different reasons. Insane, but this is another one that you know who this belongs to as soon as you see it.
You hear the song as soon as you see it. It's really, Michael was genius with his fashion. I mean, it's so tied into his performance as well as any of his choreography or any of his lyrics. I mean, it's just every look of his brought such an ethos to the performance, and like you just see the white socks or a glove or a loafer and you immediately think Michael, and it's so smart on his part and just so beautiful to see.
Yeah. Can we look at the shoes?
Of course we
were
can.
talking about them a bit before, but these have got to be, I mean, this is such a Michael, and kind of no matter what he's wearing wearing those shoes.
These are the staple. These are the foundation.
And they've got a little wear and tear on them.
The wear and the tear. This is funny because these are actually my newer pair of shoes. You should have seen my old ones. Oh my gosh, but no, these loafers have lived a life of their own.
They've seen some miles.
They've seen some things.
Let's see the bottoms, because you've got a moonwalk. Did you break them down, or did that just happen naturally?
That happened organically.
Okay.
I mean, just dancing in them so much, and mind you, I wear these the entire show.
Yeah.
So like, I don't change shoes for 2.5 hours that we're dancing in them. So me and these shoes have built a special relationship.
They're a part of you. They're a part of Michael.
He would always say that exact thing. He's like, you can touch whatever you want, but never touch the shoes. Like, they're a part of me. He would say that. It's so funny.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Because, I mean, if everything has to go through them, and if something's wrong, then everything is wrong.
Yeah.
So these shoes are definitely a part of me now, and thankfully, they're beautifully crafted to my feet.
Yeah.
And I really do feel a special connection when I put them on. I really do.
That is cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
Okay, the hat is also very iconic. Is the hat in here?
Do we have it? I don't
and if
even
it's
know
not,
if it's in
that's
here.
okay.
I don't think so, but it is also very iconic.
It's iconic because when you think Michael, there are so many different looks, but that whole white shirt with the,
the signature
motion
look.
and the kind of tuxedo pants.
Yes.
Very Michael, but the hat also kind of told its own story, especially in the first act.
Absolutely.
Kind of hiding.
You're good.
And he was very guarded with the, the interview crew, but how does that help you get into character with, it just seemed to really translate, but what does the hat mean to you on stage?
It means, it definitely is a sort of blanket for him at first.
Yeah.
And as he opens up, the hat comes off, or a shirt comes off, or a jacket comes off, like he gets to be more comfortable in the space, especially with the newer people in the room, a la Rachel and Alejandro, our reporting crew. And I think the hat tells a story of its own. I mean, even in numbers like Billie Jean, where the hat is such a centerpiece, as well as the glove, as well as the shoes. Like, it's very, like everything, Michael was so calculated, and everything told a story in his performance. Everything was intentional, every single thing, down to everything he was wearing. So I think the hat is just as big of a staple as, say, a Thriller jacket or anything. Like, you see a fedora and you'll think, oh my God, Michael Jackson,
Yeah.
Billie Jean. Like, it's a beautiful piece. I personally really, really love to wear it. I wish we could wear it the whole time, but I just love the way it looks. But no, the hat is a beautiful piece of storytelling and a beautiful piece of clothing in the show.
Yeah. I'm just like reflecting on last night, and when you come out for that first scene,
Yeah.
you know, they're like 3 minutes to Michael,
Yep.
1 minute to, and everybody that comes through that door in the audience, you're kind of like, is that Michael?
Oh, okay.
And you see that
The
fedora,
anticipation, and you
and
see
that's what you see first,
all you need
or at
is a
least what I
silhouette
saw.
to really understand.
Yeah.
Oh, he's coming. It's you were paying attention. I like that.
I was
love
so
it.
grateful. When I was telling Michelle and Sarah, I was so grateful to be able to go before meeting you, because I'm like, I had to ask about the shoes, and I was
Yes.
really paying attention to the costumes in a way that maybe I wouldn't have if I
Right.
had
If you
been
seen
doing
it
this
later.
after the fact. So
Right.
I was trying to study a little, but
No, you picked up on a lot of things.
this
I love
is
that.
cool, and I just love. I mean, this is the best job ever, but this is so cool. Not everybody
Oh
gets
my
to come
gosh.
and see and talk about, and
Yeah.
Eric and I get back row, front row seat to the backstage stuff, which is
Oh,
just
yeah.
the coolest.
That seems really fun. I mean, this job is also the best job ever. I couldn't ask to be doing anything more fun right
Yeah.
now.
Well, you're doing an awesome job.
Thank you.
What questions do you have? I'm sure you picked up on some things
I
during the
think
show.
This is really fun stuff. Like,
Oh,
we could
yeah.
make 2 minutes out of all.
We could make
Yeah.
12 minutes out of
Oh,
this.
we
We
can
could
go
talk to you
forever.
all day long.
We could go forever, truly. Oh, man.
I wish you had seen the second half.
I know.
Oh, I know.
had
The
to-
second act is...
And I hate to even say that, because that is not my style, but I had a
Right. I mean, you gotta...
7-year-old that had to.
Daughter first.
But
Daughter
she
first.
loved, so my kids, I don't know if I had said this to you, but they watched Thriller, the music video, over Christmas, and have been like so hyper fixated on
Ever
how does
since.
he turn into a werewolf. And I'm like, well,
Yes.
it's
but-
special
yes.
effects, but so my daughter was like, how are they going to do it? And that was so cool with the little,
With the little
is it
mask
like
and
does he bite
It's
on
a-
it? How does that work?
Yes, wow. You were really paying attention.
I was really curious about that bit.
Because it has to happen so fast.
So fast.
So I kind of help him get it into a new hope.
It's very
Mind you, we have to do that the whole time.
intimate.
So
I
the
was
jaw has to
thinking
be
of that. Oh my gosh, and you can't drop it. I
Nope.
mean,
Yeah,
no-
that
no
would be
pressure.
insane. No pressure.
yeah.
But no.
Cool.
it's-
I could geek out on, and like talking about Paul Tazewell, like this is just so cool.
It is so cool.
All
Be
the
cool.
little things, and like the set, Justin was telling
Yeah.
us that it took 8 hours to get all of the electrical rigged up, but that montage with the lighting
Mhm.
helps move the story along so well.
Oh my gosh.
And like if you're just watching, it's great. But if
Right.
you're really noticing
really-
every little
even
bit,
better.
it's even better.
It's even better. I mean, every department that worked on building this show put out all the stops. I mean, from our costumes to the set, like you said, to the musicians, to the sound, everything was designed with a little cherry on top. I mean, and I think that's what Michael deserves. You know, that's what he would have wanted if
Totally.
he was here, and the art
That's what
speaks
his
for
fans
itself.
deserve too, as
Yes.
this being like a resurrection kind of his story. That
Absolutely.
the music, I could not believe, and we walked to look at the orchestra beforehand, and I noticed that the percussionist is in a box
Yep,
with the
in
felt
pit,
and
yeah.
and I was like, oh, okay, that's to kind of help with echo. I could
Absolutely.
feel that drum like in
Feel-
my chest the whole time, and it was
Oh,
like,
good.
this is incredible.
I love that. Oh my
was-
gosh. Shout out to our percussionist, Misha Austin. She's incredible.
That's
Like, I don't know how her brain works that way, but no, she's incredible, along with our other musicians. Truly the greatest band I've ever heard live, and they, I mean, every night they're out there giving it their all, so
totally. And you can tell.
I can do no less than them. Like, it's,
It was such a treat to watch and to pay attention to that combination. The part in the beginning when you're like, you're late. I watched it and I was like, oh my God, they're late. And then
Oh
it
my
was
gosh.
a part of the show. So
Yep.
it's like
Yep.
to intentionally be late and then get it right on the next beat
Just
was
speaks
like,
to how good
it's
they
just
are.
everybody's
It's
so
just-
good.
Yeah.
And the choreography and the practicing
oh
and,
yeah,
you know, you guys all
my goodness.
all
I mean,
have to
it's-
work together to make it
Absolutely.
what
It's
it
a
is.
community affair. There are, I think, upwards of 70 people, like cast and crew, that work on putting the show together every night, and it's every single person in that crew from me down has to be on their P's and Q's, or else it doesn't,
The whole time?
the magic doesn't happen, you
Yeah.
know? So I think it's really beautiful seeing how communal this whole thing is. because you see the finished product, but
Yeah.
everything it takes to get there.
Yeah, you don't see
Right.
Chelsea running these things
Exactly,
down and steaming
like-
them and washing them
Yes.
and, you know,
Yes, just to
making
get ready
sure they're
for it
not
the next day.
sweaty for tomorrow
Right.
or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Okay, I have a question that I
Yeah.
tried to Google and I couldn't figure it out. Did he really say that if he doesn't do that, that God's going to give the idea to Prince? Was that a real, like,
It is.
true?
It is absolutely a true. I don't know if he ever said that exact word, but he did believe that God sent ideas through vessels,
Yeah.
through artists, and that if he didn't act on an idea immediately, like he would get up out of his bed and go to the studio to record an idea that he just had, and if he didn't, that idea would pass on to, say, a Prince or anyone else.
Or anyone else.
Because he
I
believed that
love
artists were vessels from God and from nature. And if you were lucky enough to have the idea put into your brain, you have to act on it first.
Yeah.
Because if not, someone else is going to have it.
That
And
is
honestly,
so
it's a very-
interesting.
It sounds crazy, but I understand. And it's truly, like, it's just the most interesting way of thinking about art that I can, imagine. I mean, Michael was
Yeah.
an artist's artist. Like, he is an inspiration and the blueprint for a lot of us, including myself. And, like, having that sort of drive, even after Thriller, after Bad, after Date, like, still being able to be like, no, I am letting God, letting nature use me, and that is why all of these things are coming to me, because
Yeah.
I will say yes. Knowing that that is what he felt and what he truly believed, I'm like, okay, well, any of us could also do that, and we should.
Yeah.
So
Use
it's
your gifts
very
or someone
inspiring.
else is going to
Right.
out-gift you.
Use them.
Kind of.
Be grateful for the blessing that is the idea.
Yeah.
That is the spark.
So cool.
I've learned so much. Just
I can
from
tell.
studying
And
Michael. Like, it's,
I was telling the ladies too, your mannerisms on stage, the dancing was one thing, I mean, incredible and
Thank you.
so on brand.
Thank you.
But the mannerisms when you aren't dancing were also his posture and his child, like when you had the water gun, like that, of course, is acting, but that's also choreographed. And to
Also,
see
yeah.
you as you today,
Yeah.
standing tall and not,
Yeah.
Michael had a weird kind of gait and a weird lankiness.
there was, I mean, everything that goes into studying for a role such as Michael. I mean, everyone comes into this theater knowing the moves, knowing the lyrics,
Yeah.
knowing how he was in his everyday life, at least on camera. So there's a bit of an added pressure, but also that kind of makes it more fun. And it makes me want to know more and want to dive as deep into this character as possible to make sure that there's no holes.
Yeah.
There's no holes in the show and in Michael's own story. So that's why even when I'm not dancing or performing a number, like when we're in the back of the stage, like I want to still be locked in the character to make sure that everyone feels the world of Michael, like Michael's in the room.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you picked up on that.
Well, it was it was amazing. And I'm curious, have you performed for any of the Jackson family?
Oh, I haven't.
I
They
know
did
it's a
come to
new
see the
show.
show before I was a part of it. I think a few of his brothers came, but I mean, they raved about it. They really loved it. So I'm really glad that they got to see it and see us honor their brother in this way.
And them too, to a certain
And
extent,
them,
because
yeah.
of that whole,
Right.
you know, the
whole
flashbacks
Jackson's area.
and-
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. I'm so glad that they got to see it. I hope more of them come. I'm not sure, but
yeah.
I hope so.
Well, Janet, we've got until the 13th to come
Yeah.
to Spokane if you
Come
want
on,
to
Janet. Come on to Spokane. No one-
We won't do that, but
Oh man.
that's so cool. Well, you are awesome. I
Thank
love
you.
getting to
So
chat with
are
you, and I
Molly.
could do
Thank
this all
you.
day, but I don't want to take
Oh,
up
yeah.
your whole afternoon.
No, you're fine.
Do you have anything to add? You have good insights too, so anything
Absolutely.
you were curious
Yeah.
about or?
Do you dance all the time? Like even when you're not in the show?
I-
Are you just like one of those people that dance?
I have to hold myself back sometimes because I have to conserve it for the stage, so I try not to.
Yeah.
I try not to dance as much, and I've fallen in love with dancing again through this show. Like I danced so much as a kid and like as a teenager, and then
Yeah.
I fell more in love with music and acting. But this show brought me back to like dancing, and Michael was kind of my inspiration for that. That's what started me wanting to even move my body in the first place. So, I try to conserve the energy for the stage, but if we get a good rehearsal studio, I'll be in there like in the mirror just checking my lines and seeing how everything looks on me. So
Yeah.
sometimes, yes, but
What's your primary, singing, dancing, or acting?
I started singing. I started singing before I remember speaking. So that was my first love and still one of my biggest loves to this day. And then came the dancing, then came the acting. So it was in that order. But honestly, it depends on the day what my primary is. You know, it depends on the day what it feels like.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, my first love was singing.
Wonderful. We did a little thing with Jay Daughtry this morning.
Oh, sweet.
And,
I love
my
it.
gosh, what a great guy.
lozenge in his mouth during performances, and I was like, what a risky move.
It's
but
risky,
is
'cause
that
you can
like
easily
you've got
choke.
your stuff, but you could
Yeah,
choke
you
or
can
like
really choke.
spit it out
He
or
used to spit it
have
out.
it rattle around, like
Yes,
you know.
yes.
He even says it. He's like, I'm a wet person.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
I
very
sweat
Which
close.
and I
honestly,
spit
I
and-
envy him for that because my mouth gets so dry
Oh,
sometimes,
yeah,
and I'm
that
like,
would
I
be
wish
harder.
it's much.
Because
I wish
then
it
you
was
can't
more.
talk as well.
Right.
When trying to sing while you're dancing has such a different.
It's so different.
Effect
A lot
than
of people don't
standing still.
understand that. Like you
Yeah.
can stand to deliver, and that is also very difficult. But doing it while you're twirling around and standing on your toes is
Oh, yeah.
In a heavy
in a heavy
costume
jacket
and yeah,
yeah.
it's a lot, I'm sure.
Absolutely. I mean, it's very demanding in so many ways, but I mean, the rewards outweigh the demand
Yeah.
in so many ways as well. So
You're
I'm
so
I'm
sweet.
grateful for it. I really am.
And I love your attitude. I saw the again your social media, the like, do I really want to be starting something today? And it was like, this is a joke.
This
I
is a
love
joke.
my job.
I love my job. Don't worry. I mean, it gets tiring, which is why I was like, the idea popped in my head in the first place. But I mean, any job gets tiring.
Of
but
course.
if you can have fun at it, then you know, why not?
Yeah.
Keep going. Keep going. It's the only way to do.
That's awesome.
Keep the playful side.
Exactly.
Can I see you with the glove on? Since I didn't get to see it last
We
night.
can. Yeah.
You
oh,
missed
For
out.
my
I'll shine the
own
light on
fault.
it.
Are you right? This is-
You missed out.
I
was
wish.
So exciting and so good.
It was so bright in the audience.
Act 2 is my favorite part of the show, especially the top of it.
I am usually an Act 1 person, but this show it was all about Act 2.
Yeah.
So good.
It was all about it. Oh my gosh.
Look at
Ugh.
that.
Human Nature was my favorite.
Really? I love it.
Didn't you say that's your favorite song to perform?
It is
Or
my
did
favorite
I
to sing.
To sing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. Oh my gosh. It's just such a beautiful song.
It
Like
really is.
one of the best melodies ever written.
Yes.
Like it's. Who doesn't love Human Nature? Like even if you're
Right.
not a Michael fan, that song.
I
Come
had a
on.
Michael Jackson poster on my wall when
In the song, like the synths and the horns and like everything, every piece of that song is beautifully crafted in just the right pocket. It's not too little, it's not too much. Like everything they put together, and that's one of my favorite songs of all time by Michael Jackson or by anyone else.
Anyone.
Like it's top 3 in history. Like that song is just, it's so beautiful, and it's still being interpolated and sampled in many songs to this day. So that just speaks to the greatness of it. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
ah,
Yeah.
I love that song.
Do you dig in as you're doing your research on the character? Do you dig into like what he meant about the lyrics or what time in his life he was writing these songs?
Yeah, with the context of the show, there's such a new meaning to it. And I think that there's 2 sides to human nature, and you see those sides in the show, and I won't give too much away, but there's a human nature that is we're all put here to love and to be and to just exist simply beyond all the constraints of our everyday lives and all the pressures and all the responsibility. And we are human in our most natural form. We are here to just be that, just be human. And that, I think, is one of the themes of the show, Human Nature, and of the song Human Nature. And also, he had another side to it where he felt like it was human nature to maybe be not as loving or not as open, and to, hide your cards, to not kind of model yourself after a child.
Mm-hmm.
We were born with all that fun in our hearts, and we were born with all the whimsy and the imagination, and a lot of people lose that along the course of their life for whatever reason. I mean, life boggles you down and wants to put you in a box, but
Yeah.
I think that song is a beautiful way of expressing how we don't have to, and how it's natural for us to kind of be taught that, but it's also natural for us to not want to do that. So there's so many themes
And
in
it
the
kind of
show and in
depends
song.
on the day for you too,
It
of
depends
what
on the day, it depends
matters
on the
more
human,
and
it
sticks
depends
out.
on the situation, it depends everything. Like, so, it's so beautiful. I'm giddy about it. I love that song and every other song in the show.
Yeah.
And they all mean something so different now after putting it to a story. They all have such a different context. So
Watching the I'll Be There with young Michael and his mother, I've heard that song a million times.
Yeah.
And watching the show with my daughter, I was like, oh, okay, let's
my
get some
gosh,
tissues
yeah,
out.
like,
And, I had thought of it as a love song between, partners, not a
Right.
parental love song. So to hear it in that way, I'll never not hear it that way again.
I remember when I first saw the show, I thought the same thing. I was like, oh my goodness, I've never heard this song this way. I've never thought about hearing this song this way,
Yeah.
but now it's, like you said, now I can't unhear it in that way. Like, it's such a beautiful, beautiful thing, like, because it can be applied to so many situations.
Depending on who's hearing it at the time.
Because love is universal. And
Yeah.
depending on who is singing it to who, or who is hearing it, it's just, oh my God. Music
a
is
genius.
crazy. He's a genius. He's a genius. Oh my gosh.
Well, thank you so much.